Hello Internet friends, my name is Catherine and I'm the human behind Christian Disclosure. And today is another Color Wheel Monday, the series in which I make my way through color theory one color at a time. So what we've done so far in this series is we've worked the entire primary colors triangle, and now we're working our way through the secondary colors. So, non Zoé, pas sur le micro. So now we've started the secondary colors. We've done all the electric violet, and now we're working our way through blazing orange. And so today we're going to be adding carabine blue to our blazing orange. So let's get into this. Welcome back to Color Wheel Monday, the series in which I make my way through color theory one color at a time. So what we've done so far is we've done the primary colors, and now we're working on the secondary colors. We've already done electric violet, and now we're working on blazing orange. So we've added the brilliant yellow to our blazing orange and the fire engine red, and today we're going to be adding carabine blue. And I'm very curious to see what's going to happen with the carabine blue, because carabine blue likes to be the main character in every stories. So I'm just very curious. I still have leftovers of blazing orange, so I'm just going to be needing to do the carabine blue stock solution. What is the stock solution, you may ask? The stock solution is the liquid form of our dry powder. So what we want to do is a 1% stock solution. So it's 1 gram of the dry powder for 100 milliliter of water. So first thing you need to do before doing anything, grab your mask, put your respirator on. As soon as the jars are open, you need to have your respirator on. So you only have one pair of lungs, please protect it. It doesn't have to be the same respirator as I do, you just need to have something to protect your lungs. Okay, let's do this. Just before adding your dry powder into your mason jar, just make sure that your scale is at 0. And let's do this. Okay, that's a little. So now that the powder is no longer dry, we can remove the respirator. It's only when it's in its dry form that you need to be extra careful and protect your lungs. You can wear your respirator every time that you're working in your studio. It's actually a very good practice. Okay, now we can just top it up to the 100 milliliter. Perfect. There we go. Okay. So the main reason I'm using those specific colors is because they are part of the Dharma Trading Co. starter kit that you can purchase on their website. So if you scroll down to the bottom of the the acid dyes page, you'll be able to see the starter pack. It comes even with True Black and a little pouch of citric acid for dyeing purposes. So that's why I want to use those specific colors. That, and also once you understand how color theory works, it makes your dyeing life so much easier, because you will understand how each color interact with each other, but also it helps create specific colors that you want to create. And now we're adding 10 milliliter of the blazing orange into this, because I want the blazing orange to be the main character. So I want a 1% of the shade. And since we're using 10 gram mini skeins of fingering stroll, I need 10 milliliter of my 1% solution. If you were to just calculate gram wise, you would need 0.10 gram of the blazing orange per jar, if it helps you. Okay. And with the carabine blue, we want to do from 0.05% depth of shade up to up to 1% depth of shade. Sorry, I got lost in my thoughts for a second. And you can already see how main character carabine blue is. And it's a good exercise to understand potency as well. because Caribbean Blue is just like, nope, it's my show, it's my time to shine now. Okay, there we go. Now we have all of them. Just going to move this. And it's a good idea to try. Oh, I think we're going to get browns now. Nice. I kind of like this subtle brown beige. Cool. Okay. Yeah, so we could also do the paper towel test. It will give you a good idea. However, oh, now it's brown. It's not no longer brown. It's blue. No, it's not blue. It's green. It's okay. Sorry, I should know those things. Anyways, so yes, we could be using the paper towel technique. However, like I've mentioned a few times on this series in this channel, the paper towel is accurate up to a certain point because oftentimes it has been bleached. So it's a pure white most of the time, depending on the brand. And our skeins are not pure white. Usually the skeins are, it makes a really nice green. I like that. It will make, it's more of a cream base, and sometimes it's even on the gray side. So that's also an important, why it's important to try to swatch the colors on the skeins that you want to use. So that way you can take into consideration that extra factor. It makes such a very vibrant green. I love that. It's so pretty. Okay, so this is why we don't usually use the paper towel that often on this channel, and we are swatching on these skeins instead. So there is no citric acid as of right now because I like to give the time to the water, to the color to reach every little strands of yarn in the jars. And yes, so what we're going to do, we're going to put those, and it's tap water, 350 milliliter of tap water, room temperature. So we are going to put that in the double boiler. There we go. Okay, so we're going to be waiting 10 to 15 minutes before adding the citric acid, simply to give the time to the water to warm up a little bit, but also to just like leave the dye the time to like wrap around the strands and make sure that it reached every single strand of it. So see you in 10 minutes. Okay, so it's been about half an hour, and now it's time to add the citric acid. And rule of thumb is usually about 1 tablespoon of citric acid per pound, so 454 grams of the either fiber or yarn. But since we only have 10-gram mini skeins, like less than a quarter teaspoon, you'll be fine. But sometimes with Caribbean Blue, you will need a little bit more citric acid and a little bit more time on the stove. It's a color that's a little harder. Like, it's a main character for a reason, right? It's not just because it wants to overpower every other colors. It's also because it just likes the attention. And see, we're getting like a dark, it's a very interesting color we're getting there. Okay, so we're almost at the 85 to 95 Celsius temperature now. So once it's reached that temperature, we're going to do a countdown of 30 minutes for the skein to cook, and we'll see each other at that time. Okie dokie, so that's good. There seems to be a tiny bit of blue, so we're going to let it on the stove for a little bit longer, just to give it the time to settle a little bit and all that lovely stuff. And we're going to, after that, we will turn off the heat and let it cool off completely before washing it up. Okay, so basically I am expecting some form of bleeding, that's for sure. I will show you in the mason jars in a short instant, but we had quite a bit of our famous Caribbean blue. He doesn't only want to be the main character on the yarn, he also wants to be the main character in the leftover dye bath. So you'll see that there's quite a bit of Caribbean blue left over in the mason jars. So what I can usually do with leftovers when I can see quite a bit is that I usually just take bare yarn and add it to my dye bath, and it creates random colors that are usually very pretty soft pastel colors. But since I don't know exactly the percentage of depth of shades and stuff like that, it always goes in my in my sales bins when I do physical market, because I do in-person market from time to time, and I usually have a huge wall of sale yarn, especially with like leave no dye behind, one of a kinds, and of dye batch and stuff like that. So yeah, so this is why I had to wash the yarn twice, because of the freaking Caribbean blue as usual. So here's the mason jars, and you can see that the last ones are quite dark. So let's see the final result. And here's the final result of adding Caribbean blue to our not brilliant, blazing orange. As you can see, it is quite a dramatic shift in colors, and we have this very cute light golden brown, absolutely adorable. So as usual, Caribbean blue wants to be the main character, but in this situation, yes, it becomes part of the main character thing. However, we can, like, it's green, so it's more of a collaboration than overpower. So there's that. And you can see that the green has a very deep blue. Zoe, stop touching. Deep blue shade within it. So it creates this almost spruce color. You're being a little annoying, but I love you. Okay, yes, so it creates this almost like an evergreen color, which is I absolutely adore. So this is why it's important to play with the colors you have, even if you're not sure. Zoe, stop. Even if you're not sure that it's going to be a good. Hey, Zoe, stop. What are you doing? If it's going to be a good end result, in my opinion, it really created a fun color, and it's just very interesting to see how the colors shift and which color will like take over, kind of. So that's why it's fun to experiment and to explore. So, oh boy, you're intense this morning. Yeah, so this is why I encourage you to play with your colors and to try out the starter packs of the company of acid dyes you want to work with, so that way you can see how it works. So if you've liked the video, please consider sharing, liking, and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one very soon. Bye!